Dear colleagues, welcome. Today we are going to discuss perhaps the last testy but most vital part of food engineering, or waste. But fear not, I won't be talking to you about trash bags today. I will be talking about cash flow, regulatory compliance, and the thermodynamics limits of our planet. Our presentation is titled Environmental Regulations, Legal Requirement and Sustainability Management in Food Production. We will focus especially on the taxonomy created by the EU Green Deal and how Turkey can serve these waves. As you know, for years we food engineers have dealt with bricks, degree, pH balances and microbial loads. However, today new parameters have been added to the equation: carbon border tax, circular economy, and regulatory compliance. A good engineer now must know not only the pasteurization curve but also the waste hierarchy. In this presentation, I will share with you the findings under the green module of the comprehensive report I prepared. Today we are talking about a comprehensive analysis of food waste management for EU and Turkey perspective. According to Food and Agriculture Organization data, we throw away 1 out of every 3 apples, every 3 loaves of bread we produce. We are talking about 1.3 billion tons of food annually. Friends, this is not just an issue of finish your plate or it will cry after you. This is a thermodynamics disaster. If food waste were a country, I call it wasteland, it will be the 3rd largest sources of greenhouse gas emission in the world after China and the USA. Approximately 10% of global emissions originates here. As an engineer, what scares me the most when I look at the data in this? Landfills. The organic waste we bury here produces methane gas while decomposing in an anaerobic environment. Methane is 25 times, even up to 80 times more aggressive than carbon dioxide in the short term regarding heat trapping capacity. So we are essentially stockpiling tiny climate bombs in our landfills. Also, let's not forget the concept of water footprint. When you throw away 1 kilogram of beef, you are not just throwing away the meat. You are also wasting approximately 15,000 liters of water spent on growing that animal. The figure you see on the slide are our industrial inefficiency report card. Our slogan is clear: waste management is not just the job of garbage collectors, it's carbon and water management itself. Now let's delve a bit into theory and the philosophy of the matter. Since the Industrial Revolution, we have adopted a linear economy model called take, make, dispose. We act as if raw materials were infinite and we would never run out of space to dump them. But bad news, the world is not that big. There is where the green model focus in our report come into play. Here, green doesn't just mean tree hugging, it's a quest for efficiency that directly overlaps with lean manufacturing principles. You know the concept of waste, which the Japanese call muda in lean manufacturing. In the circular economy, waste is not an error but a resource in the wrong place. If you pour whey into the creep, it's waste. If you make protein isolate, it's money. The circular food system is based on 3 fundamental principles. First, prevent waste at the design stage. Second, keep the material in the system. Third, regenerate natural system. As food engineers, we designing our processes, we must now account for the output being not just product but also byproduct. The correlation between sustainability and efficiency is not a paradox, but a necessity. In this slide, we cannot pass without mentioning Michael Porter. Most business owners view regulations as a nuisance cost imposed by the government. However, the Porter hypothesis tells us exactly the opposite. It says strict and well-designed environmental regulations trigger innovation. Just like a compressed spring launching further, when regulatory pressure comes, we engineers review the process again. We start thinking, can I recover this water? Where can I use this waste heat? The result? Yes, you pay a compliance for cost initially, but in the long run, your energy efficiency increases, your raw material loss decreases, and you become more agile than your competitors. Let's get to the teeth of the legislation. The European Union show with the Green Deal that it's not joking, especially the farm to fork strategy is like our constitution, but the real bombshell came with the Waste Framework Directive revised in 2023. Voluntary targets are over, binding targets have begun. Pay attention to the number. There is a 10% waste reduction target in the production and manufacturing sector and 30% at the retail and consumption level. We have to achieve this by 2030. Civil society organizations see the 10% target in production as peanuts and argue it should be 50% so that pressure will increase. The famous inverted pyramid we call the waste hierarchy is now a legal obligation. First, prevention. The waste is the one that is never generated. If generated for human consumption, if not animal feed. Energy recovery and disposal landfill are now treated like the unwanted child. These targets are also the de facto standard for Turkish companies that export. Two concepts that legal department France law but make finance people shudder. Polluter pay principles, PPP, and extended producer responsibility. The polluter pays principle is very clear. If you third party, you pay for to clean up. The environmental cost is now willed to the producer, not society. The most concrete application of this principle is extended producer responsibility systems, especially with the new packaging and packaging waste regulation. The concept of eco-modulation has entered our lives. What is this eco-modulations? If your packaging is recyclable monomaterial, you are in the green category, you pay a law fee. But if you say, I will cover my product with 7 layers of impossible to recycle space age plastic, you are in the red category and pay a punitive fee. So sustainability is no longer a marketing tag, but a parameter that directly affects the balance sheet. In this slide, we can talk about implementation models across the EU. France is the site that chose the stick. I say this before, with the Loa Guru law. They banned food instruction for supermarkets larger than 400 square meters. If you throw it away, if you pour bleach on it, you get fined. They force donations and it works. Italy, more suited to its Mediterranean spirit, chose the carrot method with the Lege Gadda law. They reduced bureaucracy. They said, if you donate, I will give you a tax reduction. No penalty, just incentives. The Netherlands, with true merchant logic, applies the corporation model. They established a voluntary but strict tracking system with the United Against Food Waste platform. Also by imposing the highest landfill tax in Europe, they force companies compulsorily into recycling. all these models teach us different lessons. Let's come to our homeland. Turkey is right in the middle of this transformation due to the custom union and EU candidacy. The Green Deal Action Plan published in 2021 is our roadmap, especially the carbon border adjustment mechanism hangs over our heads like the exporter's word. However, the most concrete regulation on the field is the zero waste regulation. For industrial facilities, hotels and shopping malls, this is no longer an option, it's a necessity. Businesses that do not obtain a zero waste certificate face headaches in licensing process. The regulation especially mandates to separate collection and processing of biodegradable waste, like in cafeteria, scraps, production waste. So the era of mix it all up and throw it into municipal trash is over. Businesses that continue to do this are both taking a legal risk and throwing away huge raw materials. So does the state only impose fines? No, there are opportunities too. We need to understand YEKTEM, Renewable Energy Support Mechanism, well here. If you are a food factory and have a lot of organic waste, you can set up your own biogas plant and generate electricity. The state says you produce the electricity, I guarantee to buy it from you at a dollar or euro indexed price. The base price for biogas is 54 kurush per kilowatt hours, but this figure increases with escalation. Also, the food banking incentive is massive. Let's say your product's expiry date is approaching. If you throw it away, you pay disposal cost and write off the product as a loss. But if you donate it, you deduct the entire cost value from tax. Plus, you are exempt from value-added tax. Show this slide to your finance manager. Their eyes will spark. Don't destroy, donate, deduct from tax. I know I have said this many times, but it's important. Such a clear win-win situation is rare. Let's put on our engineering hats. Food waste is bad for incineration due to the high moisture content and troublesome for composting. The best solution is anaerobic digestion. That is, in an oxygen-free environment, bacteria eat the waste and give us methane gas and fertilizer. The system kills two birds with one stone. One, you produce biogas, burn it in a cogeneration unit and get both electricity and hot water. You get the factory's hot water needs for free. Two, the resulting digested is a wonderful pathogen-free organic fertilizer. And efficiency not always is the same. Fat, oil, grease, fatty waste are the kings of biogas, energy bombs. Vegetable waste are more like water. That's why we need co-digestion, mixing different waste to find the optimum recipe. This is purely a bioprocess engineering job. Now let's turn to the language process law, money. The champions 12.3 report proves that every $1 invested in reducing food waste returns $14 to the company, 14 to 1. Even Bitcoin doesn't always yield that much. Where does this money come from? It doesn't just come from paying less to the garbage truck. The real money comes from the purchasing cost of that tomato, that milk that didn't go into the trash. Look at what Unilever did. They set up teams called food waste warriors and reduced waste by 25% through digital tracking. Nestle built an AD plant inside its factory in the United Kingdom, uses the electricity from waste in the factory and sells the surplus to the grid. Campbell's sold tomato skins as animal feed, generating revenue from trash. These are not dreams, they are implemented success stories reflected in the balance sheet. Finally, what is our take-home message? First, you cannot manage what you don't measure. You must digitally measure how much waste comes out of your factory, on which shift, from which line. Second, waste hierarchy. Reduce first, then donate, then convert to energy. Burying its failure. Third, use the opportunity in Turkey. YEKDEM and tax incentives are sitting here. Take them. The food giants of the future will not only be those who produce the tastiest product, but those who produce that product with the least resources and zero waste. The era of polluter pays is evolving. We are now in the era of zero wins, in which you all waste-free, efficient, and conscientious production life. Thank you for listening and bye.